Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So behind me we're going to take a look at this 2022 Chevrolet Silverado 3500 HD High Country. So huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this full-size truck for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. They're always getting in some awesome pre-owned inventory. That information is down in the description. So the 3500 that you see behind me is finished off in black, and they have a starting MSRP right around $71,000. And now we'll move on to what powers this 3500. Underneath the hood is the Duramax 6.6 liter turbo diesel V8 paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. This pumps out 445 horsepower around 2,800 RPM and 919 pound-feet of torque as low as 1,600 RPM. That power is sent to the rear wheels. However, this does have the four-wheel drive system. This weighs in right around 7,000 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in around 7 seconds with a top speed of 91 miles an hour. And it also has a fuel capacity of 36 gallons. This has a wheelbase of 172 inches. Its overall length is 266. It has a width of 81.5, a height of 80.6, and its ground clearance measures in just over 11 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Silverado, let's start off with the Chevy badge right in the middle. Now the surround for it is finished off in chrome, and this has a forward-facing camera nicely tucked up underneath. The rest of this massive grille is finished off in chrome, and there's even subtle touches of this bronze color on the upper section just to give it a little bit of flair. Now that chrome for the middle makes its way in between these two housings. The upper housing is the turn signal and the DRL. The lower housing is more of the DRL as well as the headlights and the high beams. All of those are LED, of course, and this even has LED fog lights that are in the lower section of the bumper. There's more chrome for the tow hooks as well as the trim piece running right through the middle. Plenty of cutouts in the upper and the lower section to provide a lot of cooling to this engine. This even has a lower air dam just to help better improve with aerodynamics. And up on the hood is even more chrome trim along with the trim piece right in the middle. And on the sides of the hood is the Allison transmission and the Duramax logo finished off in even more chrome. Great lines running down both sides of that middle trim piece just to give it more of that aggressive design, especially for the size of this truck. Everything matches very nicely. Now as we move on to the side, this particular truck has an aftermarket set of fuel wheels. They are 20 inches with a two-tone design. I think they look really great for this truck. All of the chrome on it matches nicely with the rest of this truck. And there's some great lines that run down the side. The fender arches in the front are pretty bulky with that line just up underneath the High Country emblem. And then for the rear, being a dually, the rear fender flares stick out probably a foot or more. And that tire pokes out just slightly, giving this a great stance from the side. Now this has a set of fixed running boards to make it easier to enter and exit. The 3500 HD badge is finished off in chrome, and these massive power mirrors have spotlights and turn signals on the front section. There's chrome strip on the side, the split design for the mirror, even more spotlights, and they are telescoping. So that way if you're towing a trailer, you can move them outwards to get a little bit more visibility. Now with the size of this truck, there's a lot of reflectors on the sides, even the lights on the top section of the windshield. This does have a sunroof. The window trim is chrome in the lower section, and this truck even has the longer bed. So it's a little bit disproportional, but you have a lot of room for any items you'd like to place in the longer bed. There's even a step in the front section to make it easier to enter and exit. Overall, I think it has a really nice design, and if you need the longer bed, it's still a great looking truck. Now, as we move our way to the rear, we'll get another angle at the fender arches for these back tires. A lot of contoured lines there. This has a set of LED taillights, a backup camera. Chevrolet is stamped right in the middle of the tailgate. The bumper is body colored with all the parking sensors. There's also a side step to make it easier to enter and exit from the back. And this has a maximum towing capacity around 36,000 pounds with the option of doing the gooseneck in the bed. So that way you can hook up larger trailers and really use this truck for its full capabilities. Now with the exterior wrapped up, let's make our way to the cargo space. You can use the button on the top of the tailgate or double tap this button and it will automatically lower. Now this truck also has an aftermarket tonneau cover, which of course you can pick as needed, but the rest of the bed has a spray and bed liner. There's even some electronic hookups on the driver's side. There's an outlet over on that passenger side, so you can hook up additional items if you need to. And as you can tell, plenty of room for any items that you need to place in the back, as well as mounting that fifth wheel. And this tailgate is also very lightweight. However, if you bring it up a few inches, it will automatically close itself, which is pretty cool to have. And now we can move on to these back seats, where the door panel has a really nice design to it. As you can tell with the black exterior, this has a beige interior, which is a great color combo, along with all this light wood trim. There's brushed aluminum on the release handle, all of the leather in the upper section, plenty of storage space. You can even fit a water bottle down below, which is of course great to have. There's also a lot of extra storage space up underneath the seat. So if I flip that up, there is a divider, so you can put smaller items like groceries or anything like that on both sides too. With them both flipped up, it gives you an adequate amount of interior storage if you need to use it. And with a firm pull, I can quickly close that. There's even some hidden storage space behind the seats. So by pulling on this tab, as you can tell, there's some documents in this compartment. There's even another one over on the other side, just to give you a little bit more storage space. And like I said, very easy to jump up into this truck. And I have plenty of room for my feet and my legs. There are 2 cup holders right in the middle. There's also auxiliaries and a 12 volt that you can use to charge electronics. 2 air vents are on both sides. And right in the middle, there's an armrest along with 2 cup holders, a little bit of storage right in the middle. This does have an electronic sliding rear glass that you can open and close as needed. And as far as headroom goes, I do have a few inches above my head. The roofline actually goes up, so you could be taller than me and still fit in the back of this full-size truck, which is great to have. You can have 3 people back here very, very comfortably. And before we make our way to these front seats, this truck does have remote start. So if I lock the truck and hold on this button, it will start right up. Great feature to have. If I hold on that, you can shut the truck off for whatever reason, and then I'll just unlock it from the key fob, but you can lock and unlock it using the door handle. Now the front door panel is just like the rear. This even has the optional Bose audio sound system. There's all the window controls, the side mirror adjustments. Like I mentioned earlier, these are telescoping, so if I push on that button, they will extend away from the truck to give you better visibility. All the memory seating adjustments are on the door too, as well as lock and unlock. And these seats have a great 2-tone design to them, just like the rear. High Country is embroidered up in the headrest. All of the automatic adjustments are down on the side, along with High Country down on the door sill and the all-weather floor mats. There is a grab handle for the front passengers, so that way it makes it very easy. And then looking at the steering wheel, it's completely covered in solid black leather. There's more of that bronze trim on both sides to tie it in nicely. On this left side is the cruise control and adaptive cruise control settings, along with the heated steering wheel. On the right side is Bluetooth and voice commands, and these dials are for the gauge cluster. So let's fire this back up. With my foot on the brake, that button is over on the right side. We can bring this back to life. And looking at this gauge cluster, on the left side is the tach, on the right side is the miles per hour, and right in the middle for the digital screen. On the upper section, all of that is fixed. So there's information like fuel gauge, battery voltage, oil temperature, and then below that, as you can tell, it's showing miles per hour right now. If I use those dials over on the right side of the steering wheel, we can go through a lot more information. So if I scroll over now, there's TPMS, and there's a bunch of other vitals to look at, just depending on what you'd like to see, trailer braking, your average MPG, and all of this other information. If I scroll over again, I can pull up music. There's also navigation along with phone when that is paired. And the last one is settings, so you can go through all this info, even the heads-up display, just depending on how you'd like to configure everything. So not a ton of information, but it's all very usable. Also on the back side of the steering wheel are the volume and tuning dials. So you'll have those on the left and the right side, so they are hidden. Over on this left side is the electronic parking brake, along with all the headlight adjustments, the fog light adjustments. There's the dimmer switches, also the light for the cargo or for the bed. All the 4-wheel drive selectors are just above that. And by twisting on that rotary dial, we can go through the different driving modes. So there's normal and off-road. And if I twist it to the left, that little trailer icon next to park will appear for the trailering system. There's also one air vent there with more of the leather and trim. And then up in the dash is a little bit of storage space where you could place some items. There's more of that leather, more of that trim piece surrounding the infotainment system. On the home screen, you can go through a lot of icons like audio and phone, go into the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, look at your trailer system, My Chevrolet, even the climate controls. So there's a good bit of information to go through. There's even shortcuts down below for music, phone, and navigation, so you can quickly pull those up if you need to get to them. Now going into the camera system now, This has a 3D camera system with the top-down view. Currently we have the forward-facing camera, there's a rear-facing camera, a few different angles, just depending on what you'd like to see around this. We even have the side view mirrors, and you can look at a lot of information just depending on what you need. There's even more settings to look at the bed. If you have some items there, you can monitor them, even a top-down view for the hitch. So that is really great to have. And as you just saw, I pushed on the other home dial, so you can quickly get back to this if that is not visible. There's a few other controls right in the middle. We have power and volume for the radio on the left side. On this right side, you can use this to further go through this information if you don't want to use it as a touchscreen system, with the OK button right in the middle. And then below that is all the climate adjustments. This does have a dual zone system, so the temperature dials are on both sides. You can sync these, adjust where you'd like the air to go. Fan speed is right in the middle, along with on and off. These are even heated and ventilated seats, so those dials are on both sides. You have them nicely laid out. And then there's a row of toggles. Starting on the left side, this is the exhaust brake. There's the lane keeping assist, parking sensors. You can open and close the tailgate using that dial. The hazards are right in the middle. Then there's traction control. You can get power to the rear bed. And then by pushing on this, it will actually put all of the windows down. Now you can't use that to put the windows back up, but when you hop into this on a hot day, you can quickly put all of them down. Very cool to see that feature. On this left side is the trailer braking system, and then there's a few auxiliaries where you can charge electronics and hook up any items that you may need. There's a lot of storage space right in the middle, along with a wireless charging pad. More of that wood trim and the brush trim surrounding the sides, as well as the cup holder and storage space right in the middle. Now for the center armrest, there's a cutout here where you can place your phone or other smaller items. And if I open this up, there's a massive amount of space along with the auxiliaries there, so you can charge even more electronics. And then over on the glove box side, there are actually two. I can open up this upper one, which is a little bit inconvenient. It is pretty small, so you're limited to your amount of items. And then for the lockable one in the lower section, you have a lot more usable space. We'll take one last look at this interior. Really nice two-tone design. Like I mentioned earlier, this does have the sunroof with the manual adjusting sunshade, and the controls for the sunroof as well as that sliding rear glass are up top, along with the call buttons and the dome lights. This even has the digital rear view mirror. You can go to the traditional view, or you can use that camera for some better visibility. As we set off now behind the wheel for this 2022 3500 HD, this is a massive truck. Now for the last 2 weeks, I've been driving a full-size truck. I've been in the ZR2 from Chevy, along with the AT4X, which is the GMC version. Those are big trucks. Then you hop into this dually, and we are going line to line right now with these wheels. Obviously with the aftermarket wheels, they're spaced a little bit more, but even so, this is a massive truck. It's not all that hard to get used to, but compared to the full-size trucks I've been in, this is bulky. This is a huge truck. And if you're buying this, obviously you know that, and two, you're going to get used to it the more that you drive this. And as far as power goes, for the size of this with over 900 pound-feet of torque, didn't even blink getting up to speed, and that wasn't even half throttle. So plenty of power for the 36,000 pounds that you can hook up to this and take it wherever you need to go. But aside from that, just driving it with this diesel engine, it's not all that loud. You can clearly hear it, but it's not crazy loud to be annoying if you're driving this every single day. And it's actually a pretty smooth and comfortable ride. As we switch over to the POV angle now, give it a little bit of an acceleration. And just like that, we're up to speed. Plenty of power for this dually. And you definitely sit very high up. Gives you a good presence while you're driving this down the road. And as far as visibility goes, I can clearly use these mirrors to see the tires, see the corner of the bed. I love the split style that it has. Provides you with more visibility while you're towing as well. But like any other pickup truck, over my left shoulder and my right shoulder, it's really easy to see. The glass is right there, so there's really no blind spots. This is a big truck, like I've already said, so the camera systems definitely help if you need that added visibility. This would definitely be a great work truck and something that you could drive every single day. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this walk around review and test drive, getting behind the wheel of this 2022 Chevrolet Silverado 3500 HD with the high country trim level. Once again, huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this massive dually for me today. Check out their website. All that info is down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.